Hello everyone, it's your favorite obscure YouTuber, I hope, and I doubt. So, if you read the description, I'm sure you know what this is going to be about. This is specifically reviewing these grips in comparison with the regular grips. This is the Ruger Redhawk in 45 Colt and 45 Automatic. Also known as the model 5032. Let's get these out of the way. And let's put this in the shop. Whatever, it doesn't matter. First, I'm going to talk about the negatives of the grip here. And then I'm going to talk about the negatives of these grips. Then I'm going to talk about the positives and then the positives. Maybe not in that order, because I'm not doing this with a script or anything. So, let's get started. The negatives of these grips. First of all, they're rubber. So, when you do a presentation, if you're carrying it inside the waistband, which I do, believe it or not, I carry it inside the waist, sometimes in a kangaroo carry holster, kangaroo air marshal. And if anybody wants to see that or wants me to review that, I'm willing to. It's a method of deep concealment. So when you go to draw with this weapon, wearing these grips, it has a higher chance of the rubber catching on your clothes because it's so grippy. I've not personally had that issue with these grips when I'm practicing my presentation. However, with other revolvers, I have had that problem. Don't know why. Maybe it's the rounded profile in the back there. Another negative is with these grips, there's a little pin in there, in that little area, which I guess this could count as a positive for these. I'll touch on that later. That pin is used for a takedown, and if you see this little piece right here on any Ruger, you'll also see a line seam right there. It's used to relieve the tension. The pin that I'm talking about is used to relieve the tension from the hammer, and in which the entire gun strips apart about as far as you could a semi-automatic. So those are two negatives, and the one that really bothers me the most is the fact that that feature is all but impossible to use now. Because if you look at these grips, there's nowhere there's a screw. There's no screw on the bottom. There's no screw on the top. Getting them on, they claimed was going to be tough. It wasn't. Not for me, and I'll explain how, and I wouldn't recommend the way I did it, but I'll tell you. But the way these grips slip on is just by sheer grippiness. I don't know the technical term, but it grips to the metal. And that's kind of all. It's basically a slip over. It's a slip on. So, the way I put these on, and the way that the manual, which is right here, the way the manual tells you to install these grips is to start it off and then rock it back and forth until it's in. I just took a little bit of motor oil. I rubbed the frame, the butt of the frame, and I started it off till it was about like right there, and then I kind of hammered it on the floor. Not hard, but hard enough for it to slip on. So there's no getting those grips off. I've actually tried. When I first put them on, I hated them, but they've really, really, really grown on me. I'm loving this color scheme. So that's all for the negatives. The positive, on a normal Redhawk, there's an exposure in the back strap. This one there's not. There's the rounded butt design, which fits to your hand better, conceals easier, it feels more natural. Under any condition, you can grip this gun. The gun literally feels like it's just molded into your hand. It almost feels like grabbing clay, if you've ever grabbed clay really hard. And I'm also going to add another positive, is that it is kind of grippy. It doesn't catch on my clothes for some reason when I'm drawing, but when I bend over, when I walk the dog, I have to bend over to pick up some waste. The grip keeps my t-shirt over the gun. So that's all for the positives. And that's all. It's all about these grips. Now these, it just didn't look right with these. And this is just a personal preference. When I see a gun wearing rosewood grips, the frame has to be black. It's an OCD thing on mine. Either the frame has to be black or the grips have to be black. Not both. So another negative with this is it didn't look right either. You had this big beefy frame, and then you had like this little tiny grip. When I would look at myself in the mirror with the t-shirt up or my shirt off, it would look like a small gun with a little grip. And then I draw, and I don't know if you've ever seen Yosemite Sam from the old Looney Tunes, where he's got those little hands and the little grip with the double revolvers and the big bores and the big cylinders. It looked toony to me, cartoonish. So that's another negative. I'm not going to say it recoiled terribly, because I actually never had a problem with dealing with the recoil of this gun. And as I think I may have mentioned, maybe I didn't, I've loaded these rounds up with 44 Magnum specifications. So I'm using 230 grain projectiles, full metal jacket, with 20 grains of Alien 2400 powder at 1.575 inches overall length. So if you look up that data, that's actually 44 Magnum, and it hits at about 1,160 something foot-pounds of energy out of a 4-inch barrel. So they're pretty stout. And using these grips, it still felt like a high five from an old friend. So anyway, another positive for this is you can actually, I usually carry a multi-tool, SOG Power Assist specifically, in one of these Safariland pouches, mag pouches. And with this, using this alone, I could take the screw out, take the pin out, take the entire gun apart, do what I have to do, oil it up, and put it back together. So I think that's about everything between the two grips. I wanted to showcase this grip, and I'm gonna kind of grab it and I'm gonna show you around it a little bit, and just so nobody has a heart attack. Oh my God, I didn't check until 7 minutes in the video. So anyway, yeah. There was nowhere online where you could see a video or anything like that on these grips with the Model 5032, and I have it outfitted with these ghost ring grip, ghost ring rear sight, and the glow-in-the-dark front sight. So it kind of acts like its own ghetto red dot, if you will, and it's made for quick target acquisition. That's the way the gun looks wearing the new grips. I think it's beautiful. They really grew on me. After the first day, I fell in love. And I think it's a really slick looking gun now. Before I didn't. Before I was kind of so-so, and I was like this close. This was my last chance before I was going to go take this to a gun dealer, a gunsmith, to have it Cerakoted black. And it was not going to be Kilo Guns, because they can go fuck themselves, but I've had my own issues with them. But yeah, this $20 grip from Hogue has saved me a lot of money, and I highly recommend it if you have a Model 5032. Highly recommend it. I got the automatic rounds, I have the 44 mag rounds, and I have the Winchester PDX-1s. And so, if I could rate these grips out of 10, I would say these grips are 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 in my book. I've had really good experience with Hogue in the past, and it kind of makes it feel like a larger LCR, which I loved the feel of the LCR. So anyway, if you guys like what you heard, you like what you see, you want to see further images, please let me know. Give me some comments, give me some feedback, let me know what I did right, what I did wrong. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care. And I'll talk to you guys some other time. You guys have a good one.